Most gardeners think that every spring means buying seeds, tilling soil, and starting everything from scratch. That all that back-breaking work and constant expense is just the price you pay for fresh food. Well, they're wrong. There's a smarter way to garden, a way where you plant once and the food just keeps coming back, year after year, often for decades. These plants aren't just vegetables, they're the foundation of a truly resilient garden that works for you, not the other way around. Coming in at number 10 is the undisputed king of perennial veggies, asparagus. Now, this isn't a plant for the impatient, but it is the ultimate long-term investment. When you plant an asparagus patch the right way, you're planting something that can feed you every single spring for 20 years, or even more. A lot of people think asparagus is fancy and hard to grow, but that's just not true. Its main requirement is patience. You plant 1-year-old crowns in a dedicated bed in the spring. For the first 2 years, you let it be. Don't harvest a thing. That time is for the plant to build its powerful root system. Then, in year 3, the magic starts. Those delicious, nutrient-packed spears will pop up early in the spring, often as one of the very first things you can harvest from your garden. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, asparagus just needs a sunny spot and some rich, well-drained soil. The real trick is to prep the bed well from the start, because these plants are going to be there for a long time. After that, the maintenance is pretty minimal. A healthy patch will give you 6 to 8 weeks of continuous harvesting every spring. You just snap or cut the spears at ground level when they're about 6 to 10 inches tall. When the spears you're seeing start to look a little thin, that's the plant telling you to stop. Let the rest of them grow out into their ferny foliage. This is super important because those ferns soak up sunlight and send energy back down to the roots to fuel next year's crop. For a food that comes back for 2 decades with so little work, the initial wait is a tiny price to pay. At number 9, we have a plant that's so tough it's practically indestructible: rhubarb. This is the workhorse of the northern garden, a cold, hardy perennial that can stay productive for over a decade with almost no care. If you live somewhere with cold winters, you really ought to grow rhubarb. Rhubarb is famous for those tart, colorful stalks that make the best pies, crumbles, and jams. But what a lot of people don't know is just how easy it is to grow. It loves cooler climates, generally from zone 3 up to zone 7, where the winter chill helps it produce tons of stalks. Like asparagus, it takes some patience. Don't harvest at all the first year, and only take a little in the second. This lets the plant build up a massive root system, which is the engine for all that future production. From year 3 onward, you can expect a harvest season that lasts for 8 to 10 weeks. To harvest, grab a stalk at the base when it's at least a foot long and give it a firm pull with a little twist. It's actually better for the plant than cutting. Now, this is critical. You only ever eat the stalks. The big, triangular leaves contain high levels of oxalic acid and are toxic, so they go straight to the compost. One of the best things about rhubarb is its sheer energy. A single plant can get huge and is often enough for a whole family. Every few years, you can even divide the root to create new plants for free to expand your patch or share with friends. It's one of the first things to show up in spring, giving you that tangy flavor when not much else is growing. Our number 8 pick is a plant that's all about survival and massive productivity: the Jerusalem artichoke, or sunchoke. This isn't just a vegetable, it's a calorie-producing machine. Once you plant these, you have a patch of food that just keeps going, often yielding an incredible 5 to 10 pounds of tubers per plant. In one case, just 2 plants in a tiny 4-square-foot area produced 25 pounds of tubers. Sunchokes are actually a type of sunflower and get pretty yellow flowers late in the season, but the real treasure is underground. The knobby tubers have a crisp texture and a nutty, slightly sweet flavor. What makes them a true survival crop is their toughness. They grow in almost any soil, they're drought tolerant, and pests pretty much leave them alone. You plant the tubers in early spring, just like you would potatoes, but here's the crucial thing you need to know about sunchokes. They are aggressive. This isn't a plant you put in a neat little garden bed. It will spread. Any little piece of tuber you leave in the ground will sprout a new plant. Because of this, it's best to give them their own dedicated zone where they can run wild, or grow them in big containers. The tubers are a fantastic source of inulin, a prebiotic fiber that's great for your gut health. You can harvest them anytime from late fall all through the winter. The ground is the perfect storage cellar, so you just dig them up as you need them. If you're serious about a garden that produces serious calories with almost no effort, the Jerusalem artichoke is a champion.
For number 7, we've got a plant that brings the heat and is ridiculously hardy. Horseradish. This is one of the toughest perennials out there, staying productive for a decade or more in a huge range of climates, from the freezing cold of Zone 2 all the way to the warmth of Zone 9. If you've got a spot with bad soil or nothing else seems to grow, give horseradish a shot. This plant is grown for its big, white, pungent root, the key ingredient for that classic fiery horseradish sauce. The plant grows coarse, long leaves that get about 2 feet tall, but the action is all happening underground. All you need is a single root cutting planted in early spring to get started. Just like the sunchoke, horseradish has an aggressive side. It spreads easily through its roots, and any piece of root you miss during harvest will absolutely sprout a new plant. For that reason, a lot of gardeners grow it in a contained area or even in a deep pot, like a half barrel, to keep it from taking over. You harvest the root in the fall, ideally after a frost has knocked back the leaves, which is said to make the flavor even better. You can dig up the main root to grate and store, then just replant a few of the smaller side roots for next year's crop. It's a completely self-sustaining system. The young leaves are also edible and add a peppery kick to salads. For a plant that asks for so little and gives back so much intense flavor, horseradish is a fantastic long-term investment. At number 6 is one of the coolest and most low-maintenance plants you'll ever meet, the Egyptian walking onion. This thing is the definition of plant once, feed forever, because it literally replants itself. It's a super vigorous, trouble-free perennial that's hardy all the way from Zone 3 to Zone 10. So how does it walk? Instead of making flowers and seeds, this unique onion grows a cluster of tiny bulbs called topsets at the very end of its stalks. As these little onions get heavy, the stalk bends over until it touches the ground. Once they make contact with the soil, they sprout roots and grow into new plants, effectively walking across your garden over time. This plant gives you multiple harvests. In early spring, you can snip the green shoots and use them just like scallions. Later, you can harvest the topset bulbs, which have a strong, garlicky onion flavor that's great for pickling or stir-fries. And finally, the base of the plant underground will also divide into a clump of shallot-like bulbs you can harvest. Just make sure to leave a few in the ground to keep the patch going. Because they spread so easily, you'll never have to buy onion sets again. You can start a patch either from the underground bulbs or the topsets. They're not picky about soil and are so tough they can even grow near black walnut trees, which are toxic to a lot of other plants. The Egyptian walking onion is the ultimate food security crop for anyone who wants a never-ending supply of onion flavor with zero work. Mid-roll CTA. Hey, if you're getting some good ideas for your garden, do me a quick favor and tap that like button. It really helps the channel reach more people who want to grow smarter, not harder. Most of us think of kale as something you plant every year, but at number 5, we're talking about its game-changing cousin, perennial kale. Varieties like Taunton Dean or tree collards aren't short-lived plants. They're woody, shrub-like powerhouses. They can give you a continuous harvest of leaves for 5 to 10 years, sometimes even longer. This is how you get fresh, homegrown greens nearly all year, especially if you're in a milder climate.
Unlike regular kale that bolts and dies when it gets hot, these guys just keep on producing. A single plant can get pretty big, sometimes reaching several feet tall, and it acts like a living pantry right outside your kitchen door. You just snap off the leaves as you need them for salads, smoothies, or sautés, and the plant keeps making more. The flavor's a lot like regular kale, maybe a bit stronger and nuttier, and the leaves are loaded with vitamins A, C, and K. These plants are also incredibly tough. Once they're established, they're more drought-tolerant than their annual relatives and aren't fussy about soil. Taunton Dean kale is famous for being productive for years, offering greens through most of the seasons. And getting new plants is unbelievably simple. You don't grow them from seed. You just take a 6-inch cutting from a healthy stem, strip off the lower leaves, and stick it in some moist soil. It'll root in a few weeks, giving you a brand new plant for free. This is how you create a truly sustainable source of one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet and completely break free from buying seeds every year.
For our number 4 spot, we have an amazing native plant that is a nutritional powerhouse, the American groundnut. This vining perennial was a staple food for indigenous peoples and early colonists for a very good reason. It's one of the highest protein perennial vegetables you can grow, with some sources saying its tubers have up to 17% protein. The American groundnut is also a nitrogen-fixing legume. In simple terms, it makes its own fertilizer. It partners with bacteria in the soil to pull nitrogen right out of the air, improving the soil for itself and for other plants around it. The plant produces edible, potato-like tubers that grow along its roots like beads on a string. They have a rich, nutty flavor that people often describe as a cross between a potato and a roasted peanut. You can boil, fry, or roast them just like you would potatoes. As a native plant, it's already well adapted to a wide range of conditions and is pretty low maintenance once it gets going. It is a vine, so you'll need to give it a sturdy trellis, a fence, or even a tree to climb. It likes moist, rich soil and a sunny spot to really take off. It might take a couple of years to get a truly productive patch, but the long-term payoff in high-quality protein and better soil is huge. For anyone focused on self-sufficiency, the American groundnut is an essential addition.
Coming in hot at number 3 is a plant that gives us one of the world's most loved fruits, and does it for decades: the blueberry bush. Planting a blueberry bush is a long-term commitment that pays you back with pounds of sweet, antioxidant-rich berries every single summer. A well-cared-for blueberry plant can keep producing for 20, 30, or even 50 years. Unlike your annual veggies, blueberry bushes build up deep, extensive root systems over time, which makes them more resilient once they're established. Now, here's the one big rule for blueberry success: you have to get the soil right. They need acidic soil to be happy, with a pH somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5. This is the single most important factor for their long-term health. It might take a few years for a new bush to hit its peak, but once it does, a single mature plant can produce pounds and pounds of berries each year. And there are tons of varieties out there for different climates, from Zone 3 all the way to Zone 10. So just make sure you pick one that will do well in your area. And beyond the amazing fruit, blueberry bushes are just beautiful plants. They have delicate little flowers in the spring, lush green leaves in the summer, and incredible red or orange foliage in the fall. They're an investment that adds both beauty and a reliable source of healthy food to your garden for a generation.
At number 2 is a fruit tree that completely shatters the stereotype that you have to wait a decade for a harvest: the mulberry tree. Mulberries are famous for growing fast and can start producing fruit within just a few years of planting. From then on, they'll feed you for decades. They're exceptionally easy to grow, aren't picky about soil, and are wonderfully drought-resistant once they get established. The fruit looks a bit like a long, skinny blackberry and has this unique, super sweet flavor with just a little hint of tartness. When the berries ripen in early summer, a mature tree can produce a shocking amount of fruit, so much that you'll have plenty for yourself, your family, and all the local birds. Some people worry about the mess from falling fruit, which can stain sidewalks. That's a valid point, so a pro tip is to plant them over a lawn or even a chicken run where the fallen fruit will be seen as a bonus, not a mess. There are lots of different varieties: red, black, and white mulberries. Some, like the Illinois everbearing, are famous for their amazing flavor and hardiness, while others, like the dwarf everbearing, can be kept small enough to grow in a big pot. This makes mulberries a great option, even for people with small spaces. These trees need very little from you. They rarely need fertilizer and just need a little pruning to take out dead branches. If you want the joy of a fruit tree harvest without the long wait, the mulberry is an absolutely outstanding choice. And finally, at number 1, we have a plant that's as beautiful as it is productive: the scarlet runner bean. While most beans are grown as annuals, this vigorous vine can be a short-lived perennial in milder climates, typically zones 7 through 11. In those areas, it forms a fleshy root that lets it survive the winter and pop right back up in the spring. No replanting needed. But even if you're in a colder zone, it's so worth growing. The plant produces these stunning clusters of brilliant red flowers that are an absolute magnet for hummingbirds. It just brings so much life and color to the garden. But it's not just for looks. After the flowers, the plant produces long, tender pods you can pick young and eat just like green beans. Or, if you let the pods mature and dry on the vine, you can harvest the big, beautiful purple and black mottled beans to use in soups and stews. And since it's a legume, it's also a nitrogen fixer, which means it's actively improving the fertility of your soil. Scarlet runner beans are incredibly easy to grow. They love full sun, good soil, and they need something sturdy to climb. A trellis, an arbor, or a fence will do perfectly. A single plant can grow over 10 feet in one season, creating a living wall of flowers and food. For its combination of stunning beauty, multiple harvests, and soil-building benefits, the scarlet runner bean is a fantastic choice for any garden. So there you have it, 10 powerhouse crops that can completely change how you garden. By making space for plants like asparagus, rhubarb, sunchokes, and mulberry trees, you stop being a laborer who starts from scratch every single spring, and you become a gardener who builds on your success year after year. You're creating a permanent food system. This is about more than just convenience. It's about resilience. It's about knowing where your food comes from. It's about creating a garden that gets more abundant every single season. A lot of these crops take a year or two to really get going, but the long-term reward is incredible. You don't have to do it all at once. You know that old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now? The same is true for these perennial crops. Just start with 1 or 2 that you're excited about. By making a small investment of time and space today, you're giving yourself the gift of food for years and maybe even decades to come. Which of these crops are you most excited to plant first? And are there any amazing perennials that I missed? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.